Hey, what's going on, guys? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to install catalytic converter shields onto your third generation Toyota Tacoma. Now, the reason why I picked up cat shields was because unfortunately, catalytic converter theft is up about 150% in my area in the last year alone. And I figured for a cheap-ish price, cheaper at least than my insurance deductible, it made sense to pick up a set. So I got these from Cali Raised. I got them on sale when they first came out. They were, I think, $152. And my insurance deductible is $500. So to me, it just made sense to pick these up, even if nobody ever does try to steal my cats, just because this is cheaper than paying my deductible, plus shop labor, plus waiting for the reimbursement from my insurance company, being out of a car, whatever it is. So let's open up this box and I'll show you exactly what comes in here. All right. Catalytic converter shield, strong steel, not easy to steal. I like that. Cali Raised, rise up and seek adventure. Neat. We got some installation hardware here. Got a nice sticker. Always love a good sticker. All right, and there is shield number 1. There are 2 of these, they're separate. I went with these not only just because of the price at $152, but they're actually a little smaller, and I think easier to manage than some of the ones that you'll find online that also retail for anywhere between like $350 and $400. And you can see that they have all these holes punched in them. That's for heat dissipation around your cat so that you don't overheat your exhaust system or whatever. It's cool. They have the engraved logo there. And this one has a P on it. If you can see that, I would assume that means passenger side, but we'll see what the other one has. And then here's the other one. And that does have a D, although it's backwards if we're looking at it from the bottom, but that's okay. There's a D on it, so I would assume that is driver's side. And there's the 2 of them. Looks like pretty great quality. These look to be like CNC laser cut, something like that. Edges are nice and finished, nothing's too sharp, and those will protect my cats. So let's throw them on the truck. Alrighty, so we're crawling under the truck. That is your catalytic converter if you actually don't know what it is. That big old tubey thing looking there. And the first thing we are going to do is remove this cross member. So you got 2 12mm bolts there and 2 12mm bolts right there. All right, once you've taken that cross member off, next thing you're going to do is loosen up these nuts back here on the back of this. These bolts will be used to mount to the back of the cat guard. You're just going to take the nuts off and kind of give yourself some wiggle room. You're not taking these all the way out. If you do that, that could have disastrous consequences, especially for your transmission. That's hanging out right there on top of it. Okay, so I'm kind of glad this happened so I can show you what not to do. So as I'm, I'll get a better shot. As I am unscrewing this, you can see the one bolt is much shorter than the other one. That's because it's starting to come out on this side. I'm using hand tools. You can definitely use an impact driver for this, but with an impact driver, you risk pulling this whole thing out. And if that happens, like I said, this cross member is supporting your transmission. These 2 pieces are separate. So if one of the bolts comes out, it could maybe cause the other one to shear. You would hope it wouldn't. And then your entire transmission cross member support here is going to fall down. So if that starts happening, go back on the front side and literally screw this bolt back in. And you can see it's going to start coming through again. Like that. This is purely for safety. So if you notice again on this side that your bolt head is starting to pop out too far, don't let it, and screw it back in, start again. And again, this is why I'm using hand tools and not an impact driver. Okay, so now we're ready to throw this thing on the truck. So what you're going to do is go to your hardware bag and you're going to pull out one of these little rubber grommets. You can see there's 2 sides to it. One side has that little lip and then the other side's totally flat and a little larger. So you want the large side to go into the front of your cat guard right here on that hole, and you're just going to push it through until it comes all the way through. And that'll stop any sort of rattling, rubbing, whatever. See if I can get that thing in there. You might just have to kind of really work that thing in there. I actually used a flathead screwdriver to kind of pull this thing through, but now it's set and we can throw it on the truck. So now let's throw this thing on. You're just going to take your cat guard and very, very gently, trying not to, I guess, scratch it, feed it up through here, around, and then hook it onto those bolts. And as always, when you're installing something like this, don't tighten down everything. Don't tighten down the bolts immediately. Leave yourself some wiggle room, especially because if you come up to the front, you'll see there are some hoses up here, and you definitely don't want that making contact with it. So I'm just going to kind of loosely mock everything up. Also, the front of this is pretty close to my lower control arm. You're going to want to leave yourself a little bit of breathing room there so that it's not contacting that. Interesting. I guess we'll see how this comes out. So I don't necessarily want a space back there because that'll probably cause it to rattle. But anyway, even with this not all the way bolted down, you can see there's really no space for someone to get in here. It would definitely be a deterrent at least, and I think a deterrent in and of itself would stop somebody from trying to get at your cats. So they recommend using their included security bolts here with a washer on it. And Cali Raised says reuse your old hardware for the back cross member bolts, and then put the security hardware up here on this tab closest to your door. All right, so we got everything installed. I will say that in order to get these bolts in, underneath here, you are going to definitely need a longer socket for the back. You can't just use a standard socket on that. You're going to need like an impact driver socket just because of how long those bolt threads are and how far they stick out. Otherwise, you're going to end up being like blocked in the front here by this cross member support, and you're not going to be able to get your wrench in to that second bolt there. But overall, these things look pretty solid. We're all set up and done. We're not making contact with the hose there, so that's good. And there's enough space up front where I don't think that's going to rattle too much. Should be fine. And yeah, they look pretty good. And most importantly, hopefully save me a couple bucks. Obviously, I hope nobody ever tries to steal my cats there, because they're definitely still a little bit exposed from the back. Like someone, if they were really motivated, could absolutely chop that. But there's no way to get up to the front. So if someone did crawl into your car to try and steal your cats, they can't get to the front, they can get to the back. I don't know, maybe they would still cut that out of spite once they saw that they couldn't get them. But I think generally this will act as a pretty good deterrent to thieves and such. And also it definitely gives you some protection, almost like a skid guard or whatever. If you're off-roading and stuff and you're going over rocks, that'll definitely protect your cats. So that's an added bonus there. The process is exactly the same for this side. There's just a little bit of your exhaust pipe there in the way, and you'll just install it right over your secondary cat there. So thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you all on the next one.